Listen, the older I get, the more I realize that going to bed at like 9:30 is
It's the
amazing.
best thing you could fucking do. Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about that. The older I
Yes.
get, the less tolerance I have for anything, for bullshit, for people outside my family, or like the buddies I hang out with online. But real
Yeah.
life people, sorry, dude. Like if it's not an official, professional context, not for
Right.
me. Sorry, babe.
I don't have time for it. Whew, let's get everybody ready for Monday.
I see you. It's me. It's me. It's me. It's me, Shell, bitch.
Hey gente, welcome back to another week of the It's Me Shell podcast. And remember, my job is to make your road to Friday a lot easier.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you are, mi gente. I hope you had an amazing weekend, an amazing start to your week. And as always, thank you for tuning in and sharing your Monday blues with us. And if your Monday is turning to a hot, steaming pipe of shit, or starting to turn into a pile of shit, depending on when you're listening or watching this episode, we're here to help. So, welcome back to episode 4 of the It's Me Shell podcast, Funny Gals Talk series. I know, finally, we are back. Better late than never. And I'm Dominican, I'm always late. I don't know, Jay, are you always late? Are you like on time? Shit? Yeah.
Why are you touching on the sore spot, man? I'm. I try. I seriously try to be like I'm really good when I'm delivering deadlines and work and stuff. But yeah, exactly like work, I'm such a workaholic, punctual. You need whatever tight schedule you have, you just give it to Jay. Jay's gonna do it.
Right.
However, other
Eesh.
aspects of life, sorry, Jay can only do one.
Right. Like, don't make me choose. Right?
I'm not gonna choose to drown. I gotta be a good person in the work, in the biz. But
Right.
other than that,
Either we're going to be on time to work or we're not going to meet a deadline. We cannot do both.
seriously, like when I was in full time work, I would just go on time, sometimes a little bit late and stuff like that. But if you have work and you're assigning me something and it's deadline is blah blah blah, I'm not the kind of person who's like, can we extend? No, Jay's not gonna do it. But if it's like showing up personally, Jay,
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know what you want me to do today, boss, but I might not be there.
Come on, boss, give me some space. You
Right.
don't need to manipulate the time. Yeah, what else?
Cut me some slack here, boss. I'm not going to make it.
Awesome.
When you say it in a voice like that, I feel like everybody's like, all right, fine. All right already. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Well, mi gente, if you don't remember who we are because we totally missed a month, your hostess with the mostest, Michelle S. and JS, are here to save your Monday. And this is the series where we talk about our normal, everyday, and past life situations because it is basically comedy. All right. And this episode, we are talking about a conglomerate of things. But before we get into what we have to get into, we have to do our mental health check because a good friend will always check to make sure you are healthy mentally. So, Jay, how we doing?
Well, okay, creatively, I'm always on the rise. Like these days, I'm really, really in a good creative, like my curve is going up, it's peaking. However, work wise, it's always, like work for me because I'm a translator is like this distant lover you're in a very unhealthy, toxic relationship with. Like you have work and it's so stressing and it gives you, it gives
Oh,
you nightmares.
shit.
It gives you herpes. It gives you all kinds of bullshit.
Fuck.
But
I've
then,
never heard anybody describe work this. Hold on, because this is beautiful. Wait, no, not me. Please.
okay, what is this is work, man.
I'm back. I'm back. I love it. You said work. It gives you herpes. It gives you.
god. I feel like I'm an old man.
Wow. I like that. Holy shit.
So now, because I just delivered the book that I translated,
Mhm.
now I'm in the abandoned, like listening to sappy music, waiting for the Latin lover baby for you to come back.
Oh my god. You know what song came to mind when you said you're waiting for your Latin lover to come back to you? You know Lady Gaga's Alejandro?
Oof.
That was
Oof.
you just now.
And I imagine it also with
Alejandro.
Antonio Banderas at his prime, like crazy.
Right, right. Not Antonio Banderas as Puss in Boots, although he's pretty suave there too.
Goodness, he's such a babe there. I know, but he's just like this. Oh my god, and I love cats, so yeah. But he
Yeah.
was, back then when he was playing, like these movies with Stallone, or like Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and all these crazy ass Desperado and all these shit. Like he was such a guy. Like
He's a
damn.
hottie, huh?
Yeah, and for me, it was like I was watching Interview with Vampires, and you have Tom Cruise, you have Brad Pitt, of course. There, and I love Brad Pitt so much. I'm not really on the cruise boat, so
Me
Brad Pitt,
either.
yeah. Oh my goodness, I knew it. Yes, yes, because
He's
why?
just an annoying pile of shit. He's a freak. I feel like he's just really creepy.
Yeah,
And I love the fact that he like now moved to the UK. He's just like gone. He's like,
good riddance.
right. He's like, whatever I've done in the past, I will never get caught for it. I'm just gonna move. I'm gonna pack my shit and leave. So he's just a little creepy for me. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he embodied this masculinity that wasn't even interesting to me, like an all American, like. But Brad Pitt was wild and weird and mysterious. However, Antonio, step aside, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, he's smooth. He's a smooth operator.
Yep.
Well, I am so glad that we were able to make this work. We're both doing a lot of crap these days. And it's not a bad thing. We're just doing the do, but I miss chopping it up with you and getting into it. So I'm so excited that we were able, I know, right? Because we're feisty. We're feisty girls. We're feisty, funny
Yeah.
gals.
Gonna rake. Maybe I'm bringing my Banderas, my inner Banderas. I'm like, we're gonna rake. I'm gonna come this word. Oh yeah, babe.
Ooh. I like
Oh
this. I like that
yeah.
you're embodying Antonio Banderas. And just before we started the episode, weren't we just talking about just embodying
I'm
that?
embodying every. We're embodying every like male kind of like energy going around. Mostly, it's
Right.
not right, but however, I'm using it for my own benefit as a feminine goddess to just push it back into the world, toned down and very, like kind and kindred and giving and shit like that. Because this is my feminine energy, bitch.
Right. Oh, you said that perfectly. You're just the best. Just so you know. All right. So this week we are talking about stupid shit we've said or done at work because why not? That's probably where everybody is right now anyway. You're at work, but we're being very specific with the type of stupid shit we've done at work. So just not any stupid shit because of course there would be no end to this show at all. We would just be
Never.
talking about so we're going to be very specific, okay? And this is it. So, the craziest things we've said or done to our bosses at work because we have both done it because we aren't normal. So, I figured that could be one. The craziest phrases we've said out loud to our bosses because for some reason we have diarrhea of the mouth. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the
The
thing.
craziest boss stories because who doesn't have those? Or the craziest thing that has happened between you and your boss and not sexual in nature because it doesn't have to be sexual in nature, but maybe sexual in content. Because I know I definitely have a story. You're laughing, and I'm
Damn it!
so
I have
fucking
one.
honest.
Oh my
Me
god.
too. Holy shit, me too. All right, so as always, we have to talk about the rules, right? So I mentioned the rules only because it sounds good and not because we follow them, but it provides a sense of structure in an unstructured world, or in this case, this podcast. So for this episode, it's going to be pretty basic, and I'm sure you already know what it's going to be. we can only talk about like our past stories. It can't be like our present bosses because, these people sign our checks and there's no reason to make them all nervous or make them want to
You're fired.
do that to us. So I figured, why not talk about shit that has happened in the past? What do you think? What do you think about that?
The best ever.
All
We're
right.
never gonna talk about my recent boss who is a killer ass lady, and just I'm having a great relationship with her because I'm not unloading the full J on her. We're not working in a full time setting. That is to say, because would it have been that way? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I
I
know, and
don't
you did
really.
tell me last episode that you had such a great relationship with her and like you guys got along and she understood you and you understood her after like some, trials in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
She's
we're
the
going to leave
only
her
good
alone.
female one. I had some female bitches back in the day. Yeah, definitely.
Did you? Oh my gosh,
Absolutely.
me too.
Damn
But you
it.
see, this is the problem with this episode. We can go on forever. So what I thought, and you tell me what you think. I have like two stories they're not like the top, but for the YouTube gods, they're, rated YouTube approved. So I have like two stories. What do you think? Is
Good.
that cool? Two stories, you're good?
Very cool. Very good. Yes, yes.
All right. We always have a moral too, by the way.
Michelle, are you serious? Don't. There shouldn't be. The moral is don't follow Michelle and Jay. Be good people. Be straightforward. Follow the rules, bitches. Don't be like we're not role models, man. At least I'm not.
Yo, it's not
Please.
even like, how people that saying, do as I say, not as I do. I can't even say that, or do as I do, not as I say. Whatever it is,
It-
it doesn't even matter how I put it. Just don't do it. Just don't do
Don't
it.
copy the J or the shell. Fine?
No.
Huh.
And I
No,
think
not
that's
role
the
models.
thing.
The cool
But I
ants in
figure
the corner.
cool and what?
The cool ants in the corner, but not role models. You know, like the cool ant who's like drinking and saying profanities at weddings. This is us, but not the role model who is like, "Ooh, I look up to." Unless you want to look up to me, babe. I don't know.
Or
Good for you.
drinking and cursing everyone out at a funeral is just the same to me. Wedding, funeral.
There.
Eh. Eh.
Whatever. They're the same. You're just obliged to see everybody you haven't seen in years and just listen to them say bullshit.
And I'm gonna talk shit. Oh man. All right, that's for another episode. We're gonna put a pin in it. But we always have a moral.
Please
So I figured maybe we can share something small. So, la gente,
tell me what is your moral?
they kind of, well, it'll be
Tell me.
after. So don't worry. Yeah, we're gonna share it with them. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Right. Now that you guys know the rules and that we're gonna have a moral, we're gonna get into it. So, Jay and I have had many similar experiences in our lives, and this time our experience has brought us together to talk about the crazy shit we have said or done or communicated to our bosses. And surprisingly, they have not gotten us
You're fired.
fired. So, Jay, do you want to start? At least because I know we're going to do two stories. You can at least start. You want to start?
Okay, look, for some reason I was in a very toxic workplace corporate thingy, and I was like kind of like the brainiac of the place. I was just so they hired me like, let's get the genius to do this work, and I was like doing copywriting, copy editing, translation 24/7, being, like working. They worked me like an ass, like boom 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 boom. And of course, to pass time, I was really hard drinking, smoking, doing everything that would make me put up with this really hectic, stressful environment to the max. Unfortunately for me, I didn't know that this corporate was kind of like a sham. It was like a dropout. Have you seen the Dropout series with Elizabeth Holmes? It was the similar setting. Like these people are fooling poor candidates and employees and telling them to come and work for us when they're actually like they have nothing. It's usually I think it was a cover up for something that I don't know what it is, thankfully. But I was there working my ass off and thinking like, why is there a lot of inappropriate behavior here? Why isn't anybody doing anything? And I would go to the HR guy, a big ass guy, like with a smile, and just tell him like, hello, things are happening, people are ruining work, and he'd be like, oh, it's okay. Don't act like you don't see it. Are you serious? You're the HR? Hello. We're in deep shit if you're telling me this. So yeah, I would go to him every day. And then I started, like feeling very oppressed by my crazy, psychotic female boss was just giving me a hard time about everything and dancing and coming to work hungover and like for refusing to take her meds and then imagining that imaginary ghosts are coming to get her and then kind of like locking me her with her in a dark office and just telling me things that were so inappropriate. So I went to him like insane, okay? And his name was he had a weird name like I'm gonna give him a fake name, okay? I'm gonna give him a name like a Shufi, okay? So I was
Okay.
like, Shufi, we gotta do something. What is this? And then he would start smooth talking me into nothing, like like brainwashing me that nothing is happening. And I'd go out of the house feeling like, yeah, Shufi, you worked it out. Going back to the office, seeing shit that she's doing, and seeing her, like harassing one of the new interns, and like, oh my god, this is like, man, we have to report this. Something must be done. Just girls, like young girls, younger than me, having nervous breakdown after nervous breakdown because she's uncontrollable. Like she's the least professional, craziest motherfucker you could ever work with. So I would just go to Shofi and talk to him with my laptop, and he'd be like, come on, talk to me about your writing. Let's talk about something else. And I would just talk and talk and talk. And so one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this story about you. I totally forgot I was in this work setting. I was like, okay, I'm having friendship with this guy. So I'm like, okay, let me just write this story about you. There is this planet called the Shufi planet, and all you guys are like wearing bunny outfits, and I just gave these weird BDSM descriptions of the outfits they're wearing, and he's like laughing his ass off and stuff. Then I forgot that I had a presentation that day. And I went, and the CEO was coming, like, yeah, Jay, let's see what you have for us. And they connected my laptop to the biggest screen. And look at what Jay did. Her story of the Shufi planet wearing bunny outfits, saying sexual crude stuff there. And she's like, guys, we are taking this company to the future. First slide. Second slide. Guys, this is in front of you is the project that I'm proposing. And then I'm seeing people going green. And you're like stunned silence. And I'm like, nobody likes the project. What is the problem? And the CEO is there in the back, and he's such a mean guy. He's like
Yeah.
very, very Martin Scorsese level of meanness. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure this guy had some serious issues. So he's there, like smiling sinisterly, like he's enjoying the story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is wrong with my project? These people don't appreciate. And then I look, and in the slide that I was looking at, it was like, and he was wearing his bunny outfit and hopping and jumping over another shufi, and they're like copulating.
You're fired.
I'm sorry. Girl, wait.
And then, as I see it, being the J that I am, I'm like, oh, wrong presentation. Close. Open the second presentation. Thank you. And then walking with my laptop over my breast,
Of course.
and as if I did nothing. Crazy thing is, I wasn't fired. This company is a scam, man. They're not even hiring people for the right reason.
Right.
I was watching the dropout and the sister and crying because this is exactly what happened. You see people disappearing, like, oh, where is like blah 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 in R&D? Oh, he left company. Wait, what?
What?
Why? They were just having a meeting yesterday. Are you guys crazy? And then, oh, where is like the head of the marketing department? Oh, he left. What? But who's gonna be in the role? And you find another person implanted in the role. Like it was a scary time, man, for me. But the things that I did in this company were just as scary.
Oh man, it sounds like you were working for like a crypto company because I swear those are all fucking scams.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was this. I'm sure it was something like crazy. And they're always having presentations and people in suits, like and women in these, like amazing tailored skirts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's when you see it.
Oh boy. That's crazy.
I love the Shufi Island though. I really wanted to write this story, like
The
people with the
Shufi
same name having sex together.
Right. In like BDSM leather bunny suits. The furries. Wow. And everybody was probably like, now this was the best presentation I have ever.
I guess, yeah.
You know what? I think the important moral of this story, mi gente, is that do not do what we do. Like, honestly, really think about what you because I can see this happening to me though, like just having the wrong slides in the wrong place. No matter how much you practice, it's just like part of our lives.
Yeah,
So I can see that happening. That's
I
why I
can
get
see
so
it to
scared
you.
when no, that's why I get so scared when like my boss takes my phone and I'm just like, I hope my husband doesn't send me anything because my boss is the type to just press buttons and I'm just like, why? This is not appropriate.
I know. Oh my
And I'm
god,
just
I
like,
know what you mean.
don't
Damn it.
don't scroll through my pictures. Like, right?
Okay, don't go through my gallery. I dare you.
Right. Don't just don't do it. Don't do it. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad that you weren't fired. Although again, I think you were working for like some type of up,
This is
up and
so
coming
very
crypto company with the revolving door of the higher ups just being fired and rehired by, people who are not qualified. So I'm glad that you weren't fired because, we need the coins. So good. Well, my story, um, I guess it kind of has to do with technology. So very, very long time ago, I used to work with this person who she was always running late, always, always, always running late to see her clients, right? All the time. And she this particular day, she was, like, extra late, and all her clients were really pissed, they were so, so mad. So I would have to keep, like, walking out and pacifying them, like, "Listen, she's stuck in traffic, she will be here soon, don't worry about it, just give her some time. Like, the next time you come, it'll be quicker, I promise. Do you want coffee? Do you want water? Like, I will run out, I will get you something to eat." Like, people were very, very angry, so I was just trying to keep them nice and cool. So I remember we had like a group text message. We all kind of texted the same group. So she kept texting the group telling us, like, okay, 5 minutes away, or like, hey, there's a car accident now. It's like, girl, you're stuck in traffic. There are like seven different car accidents. Like, all right, it's not even Monday. Like, it can't be this fucked up for you. You know what I mean? Like, I made it to work this morning. It just can't be this messed up for you.
this is
So,
your excuse, bitch.
right, like, stop the lies. Stupid
Stop
right
already.
stupid right now. Right? So I take it upon myself to text. So apart from her, we had a group without her. And this is where I fucked up because I texted the wrong group. So I thought I had switched. I
I
thought I
can
had
imagine
switched.
now.
And can I tell you, the iPhone was meant for you to fail. Like, Apple has made it so when you send a message into the world, you can't retract it. Like, I mean, it's different now because they've
Yeah,
updated whatever, but it took those motherfuckers too long to
too
give us that
long.
option. So
I know.
I sent the message and it said, because she had texted the group and said, hey, well, I'm 10 minutes away, car accident right in front of me. It was crazy. I'm just like, now this. So in the message that I thought I switched out to the other group, I said, this bitch is now an eyewitness. I said, this bitch is now an eyewitness. And
Yeah.
I didn't get a response. And then I said, no, no, because
Weird.
nobody
Stop.
responded. So I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the group? This group is usually popping. What's going on? So I was like, and now this bitch is saying 10 minutes away. I said,
Yeah,
this bitch
right.
is crazy. Then again, I realized nobody responds. So I go, and when I go, all the girls, I walk out the door just to see, like, yo, what's going on? Why y'all not responding? This is funny shit going on right here. I go and I walk out the door, and everybody's like, they're just shaking their heads. And I'm like, what's going on? I pull out the phone and I click, and I see that I sent the message to the same chat she's on.
Man,
So
you're rolling in the deep.
there's a fire. Bitch, and the fire was in my eye because I knew as soon as she came, I was like, this bitch is gonna light me up. So you remember right before we started this episode, we were talking about embodying, that energy where you're a quick talker, businesswoman, you get out of everything. So I said, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So she walks in immediately, first client ready. So of course she comes to me with like this smirk on her face, and she's like, "This bitch, huh? Eyewitness." I said, "No, girl. Let me tell you what I meant." I said, "This phone is so stupid." I said, "I hope Eyewitness News is out there trying to catch it because they might just interview you." And I was saying, traffic is a bitch, ain't it? Like, it's crazy. So she looked at me. The thing is, like, once I was saying it with such conviction, there was no way I wasn't going to convince you
Yeah.
that that's what I meant. Bitch, I will find the phone number to Eyewitness News and call them and be like, "Look, I called them for you and everything. I want you to be all right." You're not you're not gonna say I'm wrong. Mind
Thank
you, it's my
God. Like,
it's
you're
my
the
fault.
best. But see how smart you are? Poo poo, quick, snap into action. Let's
And
cover up the screw up.
I had to. Listen, if that's one thing my daddy taught me. So she's like, "Really?" I said, "I promise you." I said, "Go out there and ask anybody."
Cross my
She's not
heart.
gonna go out there and ask anybody.
Exactly. And what's she gonna ask him about? She was
Right.
being burned, by you. She's gonna make a fool of herself.
I'm like, and the thing is when I know like I fucked up, sometimes I look intensely in your eyes like, "Go ahead, ask them. I dare you. Do it." And it's like I try to be intimidating, although I'm like 5'2". I'm just like,
I
"Do it."
know. It's us short girl. I'm the same. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm shorter, but us girls, like tiny girls, we're the same. Like, we're trying to make up for it. Like, I'm
Right.
always thinking I want to be an Amazonian. Like Xena, like hoo-ha, but then I can't. So I'm just trying to
Right.
be like, yeah, attitude. This is the thing.
We wanna be Xena knowing damn well we Gabrielle's girl.
We're Gabrielle. Yeah, I'm the sidekick.
Bitch, we Gabrielle's with the staff. Like, that's who we are. But no, I was like, "Go ask them. Go ahead. I'm telling you, girl, like I was ready. I was ready to walk out there and pick you up." Like, but it just worked because everybody was already so irate that she was running so late that
Exactly.
they started like opening the doors like, "Hello, like you're late." So they started yelling at her now. So she really didn't even have time to process anything. And I'm just like, "That's right. What I told you. Eyewitness News." So shout out to Eyewitness News for saving the day. I don't even watch the fucking news, but on that day, you couldn't tell me anything. On that day, I knew what helicopters were going over, what highway to tell you if there was traffic. You couldn't tell me shit. You couldn't tell me nothing. I became the newscaster on that day. So,
Hello.
what is the moral of this story? I think I mentioned it already. iPhone is out. Mind you, this has nothing. I will take no accountability when I know I should. iPhone was out to get me that day. Um,
Technology is that way all the
yeah,
time.
I couldn't.
Always up.
There was just no way. Now you can click on it and the message kind of just disappears. No, I feel like Apple has my name on the naughty list, and they were like, "Yeah, it's about time, girl. It's about time.
You're
You talk
getting
a
this.
lot of
You've done a lot already. Let's give it to her this time. Ooh, why did
Michelle, you are reckless, and it is time for you to pay." So that is
and
my moral.
they're coming after you in bunny leather outfit to screw up your
The
life.
furries. You're coming in leather bunny outfits with only eyes cut out. And little holes for the nose, and they're hopping over each other to get
Damn.
me. Yeah, and listen, she never mentioned it again.
She
Never
wouldn't,
mentioned.
man. You were so good at this. Let me tell you, you acted so good in this situation. You kind of like, you put your mark on her. This is what we say here in Alexandria. Like, I'm gonna put my mark on you, so you can't trespass me again. So you did this.
Oh,
Hello.
I like that. Oh, you guys are
Yeah.
gangsta over there.
We are Alexandrians are, like we tell you, the meanest shit. So yeah, we have a lot of expressions.
I like that. So
You're fired.
it didn't work for me. I wasn't. And I'm very grateful. And this was a very long time ago. And I think because I wasn't reprimanded or fired, it made me the person I am today, which is worse than I was yesterday. So for that, thank you. I'm just kidding, guys. All right, Jay. So tell me, do you have another story you want to share?
Man, there are many going through my mind right now, and I'm trying to see which one of them was okay. So I was working in this, like community pharmacy setting, like where you just give drugs out to patients and medications and shit like that. So of course, me being me, they were always trying to put me in the backward doing the, like paperwork or doing the computer work because Jay shouldn't be altercating with people because like someone would just come and tell me like, "Hey, ma'am," and I'm like, "I'm no madam, bitch. I haven't been married," and they're like, showed me back with them. Like a guy would say, like, hey, mama," and I'm like, "I'm not your mama," and he's like, "It's respect. What's your problem?" And then I'd get into a fight, and no one would get their medications. They'll be all shit. So
Thank
this day, it was like level of craziness, like up here, okay, and the manager of the pharmacy, and he's a very good decent man, came to just dispense and give medications with us, okay. So this guy just came and he started like, "You piece of shit, you motherfucker," to my manager. And I don't know, like he was such a figure that I revered, one of the few good bosses that I had. And I was like, "You stay there, boss. I'm going after him." And he's like, "You shut up, Jay. I'm telling you, don't talk." And I'm like, "How dare you talk to my boss? Shut up, you little bastard." And I'm just going obscenity after obscenity, and they just want to shut me up. They don't know what to do. And the guy went crazy, and he's like holding on to the bars, trying to he had headbutt himself and just like attack us and stuff. And my boss next to me is like trying to calm things down, but it just got out of control. And he's like, "I told you, shut up. I know how to deal with him." And I'm like, "No." I started crying. "He's gonna do something to you. He's threatening you. I'm not gonna let him do this to you, boss." And then security comes, and I go out to them, the queen that I am, take this guy out and throw him out. And they look at each other. No, who are you? You're not our boss. You're ordering us.
Girl, they were like, who's in charge here?
Not you. And I'm doing this.
You're out of here. It's like, actually, no.
And the guy went
Oh my
crazier. And he threatened my boss that he's gonna wait for him outside to kick his ass after working. And I'm like, "No, they're gonna kill the boss, you bastard." So I'm like this. And he's like, "You know what, Jay? If you don't shut up, I'll be the one killing you. Let me handle it. I'm your boss. I'm your manager. Stop it." So like it went like, and people started fighting with each other in the background. It turned into a total frenzy. Like everything went chaotic. The guy was unstoppable. And instead of me leaving the thing to my sane, like calm boss who has negotiation, blah 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 skills. No, me, I had to be territorial and like protect him and shit like that. So
right.
yeah, this day was held in the history of the whole institution as the day everybody like people were attacking each other. Like two women started like fighting and like to each other for no reason, like weird bad energy. And it's all because Jay couldn't keep her mouth shut and wanted to really, really protect her manager who was being like cursed and shouted at by some obscene guy. I didn't get fired, of course. They protected me. The boss protected me, covered up for me. He was like she was just stressed out.
Hey, you started a riot. So you understand. You started a riot.
And I'm like pushing the boss aside. "How dare you?"
And your boss
You're fired.
was like, nah, that's my girl.
Exactly.
We
Like even
can't.
when he was pissed off in the situation, but after
Yeah.
like he stood up for me and like, but the best was the security people, like lavender. Get him out.
And they're like, excuse me, ma'am. We're not going to do that. We would like to speak to the person in charge. And you're like, hey, you see, that's me? Like, no,
No.
we don't think so. Oh, Jay. All right. So what is the moral of that story?
Well, just let people stand up for themselves, man. Don't act so patriotic.
I know that's right.
Exactly. Why get into it? Just stay in the
Mhm.
background. Let them handle it.
Right. Just I love the fact that you are aware of yourself. You're like, I know exactly why I sit in the back. I know exactly why I belong back there. And I'm okay with it
I
until
couldn't.
you see a wrongdoing. You're like a fucking vigilante.
Exactly, exactly. And this is what gets me in trouble all the time. Like, yeah, I sit in the back, then it's like, no, I can't. I don't know. Maybe it's all those action movies we watched when we were kids. We always want to be like Bruce Willis or Van Damme or shit or
Right.
Wesley Snipes. Wesley.
Wesley.
Oh my goodness, I love Wesley. I have like a shrine for
For
Wesley.
Wesley.
Oh my goodness, I love him so much. He's like my
Shout
favorite.
out shout out to what girl. Shout out to Wesley Snipes. Yeah. Shout out Wesley, Mr. Snipes. Well, Jay, I'm glad first of all that that guy didn't try to like yoke you
I'm
and put you in like a sleeper hold because it literally sounded like you started like a whole wrestling match. Like everybody was tag teaming. He was about to throw you through a table. It was crazy. It was great.
and let me tell you, if you see two women, like Alexandrian Egyptian women fighting, because I had this weird, like old cryptic white American lady telling me, "Oh, I know all Egyptian women are docile," and dude, come and see two women at each other. Serious,
Right.
these women, like they were grabbing, like hairs and veils. Like one of them was wearing a veil, and the other was like, "Ugh," and cutting her clothes. And I'm like, oh the fuck! I caused all. I really wanted to hide. Like some of my coworkers were like, "Damn, girl," they were like watching with popcorn. Like, oh, what's? She's just screwing herself up more and more. And others were like, "Oh shit, Jay, what did you do?" The more sane and wiser ones. Oh,
Right. No, I like it. Listen, you started a
oh
riot.
my
People were divided. People were choosing sides. You had people throwing chairs at people. RIP Jerry Springer, because that's literally what you started. It was people were throwing chairs at each other.
god, oh my
That's what you started. And then, well, who was his security? Steve Wilkos. You became Steve as well. You're out of here. And then the real security was like, ma'am, please sit down. Ma'am, take a seat. So, shout out to you for starting trouble and not getting fired for it. I love it.
exactly.
I love it. So, my last story, it's I want to say medical in nature because you were talking about like medicine and, providing medicine or administering medicine. So, mine has something to do with medicine. And okay, so I was working in this place again, very long time ago. This is like more than 10 years ago. So, which that just means that I was a lot more immature. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
hopefully
it doesn't
I
make it
don't do this now.
right, it doesn't make it any better because I was just a lot more immature. So, I'm working with this guy, I end up being his administrative assistant. He's awesome, great guy, treated me great. The office, it was up and coming, so we were definitely getting our shit together. And, when you work as like an administrative assistant or when you work personal assistant, when you do these kinds of jobs, you're very close to your boss, like you're very close to them. So all the mail we used to receive, even if it had his name on it, my name on it, whatever it was, I would open it because that's my job. I open it,
Uh-huh.
see, make sure it's not a bill I have to pay. If it's his mail or something, I used to help him with everything. So I knew all aspects of his life. So I'm just like, okay, let me see. So we get this delivery and I'm shaking it because it came from I don't remember if it was like UPS or FedEx. It was one of them, one of those. So I'm like shaking it. I'm like, what the hell is in here? So I open it and I'm just like, oh, maybe just papers. I stick my hand in and I'm like, oh, it's hard. What is it? I pulled it out and in big like writing, it says, don't laugh. How are you laughing before? Oh, I'm keeping everybody in suspense right now. So in big letters, I look at it and the fucking thing says Cialis. And for those who don't know, Cialis is a type of medication that keeps men's reproductive system.
Oh!
Girl,
You poor thing.
when I tell you, I did not know what to do, what to do with myself. And listen, there are many other uses for this from what I've heard, but it is mainly used to treat erectile issues.
Can't get it up. Can't get it up.
And can I tell you, I'm not laughing for all you men out there. I am not shaming any one of you,
Never. I'm not.
right?
I'm laughing at the
Absolutely
bomb.
not. Guys, we love and respect you. We're not disrespecting you here, but just so you know,
Never. Even not Jay. Damn.
right? Yeah,
Oh my
we are not doing this. But can you imagine? To my surprise, I was just like, so it's funny because it came like once I pulled it out, I was just like staring at it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And for a quick second, I was just like, well, I can't let anybody else see it, right?
Good at
Right,
you. Yeah.
right. So I put it back inside, and I'm like, well, now I have to wait for him to get here, and I already opened it, so I was trying to figure out ways like how can I repackage it. But once I destroyed the fucking box like an animal, like it was it was beyond repair, Jay. There was
Damn
nothing
it.
nothing I can do. I was like, maybe I can retape it. I'm like, either way I put this, I've screwed the pooch. And I'm
You're fired.
definitely gonna get the fucking axe because like how do you recover from that? Right?
I know.
So I get a call and he's like, "Hey, I'm 10 minutes away." I'm like, "Sure." Everything is so short. And I'm usually like very talkative. He's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you okay?" I'm like, "I am doing fabulous. How are you?" How are you? Because now I'm like, "How are you today, honey? How are we
How is the
feeling?"
evening? Need some tea.
Right. Right. Let's
Food
talk.
and workout.
What do you want? Do you want some coffee when you get in? Like, just talk to me. Tell me your needs. Tell me your wants.
Is there
What do you
anything
want?
okay down there? Just
Right?
ask me.
Is there anything you want to tell me? So,
Maybe a tiny thing.
is there any little thing you would like?
Poor baby.
Sorry. No matter how big or small. Ugh, forget it. I'm gonna walk away from that one. So of course he walks in and he's so happy because we were always happy to see each other. We did have a great working
Exactly.
relationship, and he was also going. What made this worse? He was going through a nasty divorce. And I
Oh
was
my
there for the
days.
whole thing, and I knew his ex-wife. Sometimes he would bring his kids to the office, and I would just stay with them. They would be in the office, and I would be doing work, and whatever they needed, I would order food, and I was we were chilling. So it's like for me, it was a little more personal because I knew him, I knew his ex-wife, I knew all these things. So now I'm like, fuck, man. Like you have these pills, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So
Oh,
he comes in, and he's like, "Oh, do I have any mail?" I'm like, "Yeah, I left it on your desk." Like, literally not even looking at him, I'm like, "I left it on your desk." He's like, "Okay, sure." He goes into his office, he looks at the mail, he goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "Fuck." He walks out with the thing with, like, the box, and he goes, "I got this today." And you know how I get, straight eye contact. There's nothing I can do about that, that's just what I do. So I look him dead in the eyes, and I'm like, "Yeah, you got that today," and I opened it. I swear, that's what I said. He goes, "Okay."
oh God.
And that was the silence was so loud. I was like, "I need to go home, like, I need to fake an illness, I need to pass out, I need to start crying, like,
Exactly.
what can I do right now?"
Oh
So
my
I
God.
just pretended like not to know what it was. So I was just like, "Yeah," and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was like somebody, like a rep probably sent it to you. I don't know if you wanted to try this out. Maybe they sent it to us by mistake. Like, and now I'm rambling. I'm like, they sent it to us by mistake. Like, I wasn't sure. It said,
Oh,
yeah. So that's how I had to play it off. I was like, I thought it said your name. I don't even think it said your name. I didn't even really look at it, but I opened it. I am so rude. I am so sorry. Whatever. And he's just like, no, it's cool. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, sure. It's cool. Yeah,
oh
I
my
get it.
God. Oh, poor thingy.
Girl, my fight or flight, I don't even know. I was too stunned to speak. I was just like at first I was just like, "Uh."
This is like
And
the
then
perfect situation, but I'm just laughing. I can't.
I
He's
know
so exposed in front of you right now. Like, how can you look at someone in the face? Oh
he
my
might as well be
goodness.
standing there butt naked, girl.
I
He's
know.
just
Poor saying, I mean, like, oh my god, I feel I totally compassionate with anybody going through anything, but just the idea that I don't want to know that much about you, man. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Right. And
really,
after that, I said, "There's no turning back. I think I have to work for this guy for the rest of my life." Like, how am I supposed to just say, "All right, bye"? Like at this point, I know too much.
exactly. There is a level that you have to keep. Like, okay, let me tell, let me tell you. I don't just want to hear the ending of the story. I gotta tell you a story that a friend told me. It was something like that. Damn it.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. And then, of course, like when you do things like this, you start using these keywords that kind of relate directly to what's going on. Oh man, it was terrible. Yeah, exactly. So now you can imagine exactly. So I was like, "Hey, do you want a little bit of do you want uh
Damn it.
we have
Oh
a
my
big case tomorrow?" Mm, yeah. Like I didn't know.
Imagine if you're throwing a joke, like for me, because sometimes I would just throw a joke with the boss and then remember, oops, this is inappropriate, shouldn't. So imagine me like, this guy is like, where is his wiener? And then you remember
Right,
that the boss had the problem. So no, of course,
right.
you left, right? You didn't stay. It was
I
too much.
I know. And interestingly enough, like he was such a cool guy. He
Mm,
was at his ripe age. I think when I was working for him, he was late 40s, but he was so active. He was
Lord,
really active in judo. So he was like champion. So like he was doing really cool shit. Like his awards were everywhere.
hey,
And he was and he was from so the joke was that he was like I would call him Jean-Claude Van Damme. He acted exactly like him. He was from Brussels. He had his same accent. He was like Jean-Claude Van Damme, just not really him, not him in his, so he would like I would go into his office and find him doing splits with 2 chairs. Like he was that cool. But that
I'm
shit went out
afraid.
the window. Well, not his coolness, but like just the way we kind of looked at each other. Oh, and to not to
Exactly.
mention the one of the reasons I got the job, which is a total HR issue, but whatever.
You're fired.
He said, "I love Dominican women." He was like in the interview. He's like, "I love Dominican women. You guys are so funny. You guys are so quick. You guys are just so great." He's like, "You're
The
so
best.
pretty. You Dominican women are so pretty." And I'm just like, "Bitch, you ain't lying, but this is not an interview. This is like a dating like, are we dating?
Am
Are
I
you
dating you?
right? Are you getting to know me right
Is
now?"
this
And
Tinder?
then
Are you punking me?
right. No, but then like, 3 years later, we were the best of friends, did everything for him, and then man, that Cialis fucked me up. But surprisingly enough, I didn't get
No, no,
fired.
this is too much.
And I thought it would because I'm like, "Yo, there's not one person
But
in
you
the
left.
world that's comfortable." Yeah, but I left. I left. I had to. And not because like he sucked or like
Exactly.
things changed or anything. It was really because of just administratively
No,
everybody around, but I was just like, like I can't do this anymore. I gotta go. I have to go. Um,
no.
so yeah, so I left.
Hard.
And listen, and the moral of that story is again because I refused to take accountability. I was very, very, very immature then. Pharmaceutical companies, you guys are out to get me too. Because not only are they out here ruining lives and making medications unaffordable for people, but they're out here setting you up for failure. All right. Because you could get fired for opening up your boss's Cialis. So do not open any packages that say meta,
Because you never know what you might gonna get.
because you never know what
Imagine finding a dildo or a sex toy,
big or
like
small.
in your process shit. Because that would be like,
I
mm,
think that's too close. That is way too close. So no matter how
exactly. I
big or
mean,
small the
that's
package,
scary.
do not open it up. But yeah, that's my moral, man.
There are levels. Like imagine you and me going out, like and just hanging out with friends, and then I found this thing that just makes me see you naked. Like I would be like, imagine us working together. Oh man, too much. Like I had a friend who told me like she had this really strict, like respectful, like older lady boss. Okay, and she was giving her hell at work and stuff. And one day she was surfing Facebook when they would send you notifications about what other people were doing, and this lady is like shopping for like nipple stickers. And she's this, you would never imagine her covering her nipple with this. And she's like asking, like asking how much. And my friend is like, too much information. And imagine going there and being berated by her. And then in your brain, you're seeing her using this.
Fucking
So
tassels.
you might be imagining him all the time trying to, like,
Right.
or thinking to yourself, maybe it's the judo, poor thing. So
I
no, you
know.
did the right things, man. I
Yeah,
truly
that's it.
salute you.
I had to get the fuck out of Dodge, man. I left. Said you're cool, but and that's another thing. Never look at your boss's like Amazon order history either. You're not gonna like what you find. You're not gonna like
Have
what
you
you
ever
find.
done it? Tell me. You have to tell
I have. But again, it's like I fall into these traps. I'm not doing it on purpose. Like I'm literally doing my job. So it's like, why are you ordering? Uh just don't look at your bosses. History. Oh, mi gente, we have reached the end of the Funny Gals talk. But before we go, Jay, let them know, Hunty, where they can find you.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram or Twitter, Jaylan Salah, and you can find me on my YouTube channel where I post, like clips from my new series, The J Days, where I just comment on movies and me being just an idiot to me. So this is where you can find me right now. This is what I'm doing. So I hope you enjoy our show. It was insane, and enjoy the other stuff as well.
Absolutely. And yes, Jay's Days. I love those. And I love your little snippets at the bottom of all your pictures too. Cause you like really describe like, all right, there's gonna be some crazy shit. So I enjoy all of it. And you heard it, mi gente. Make sure you go follow her. Make sure you like all that stuff, subscribe, follow, all that good shit, because that's what we're looking for. And I want to thank you all so much for tuning in as always. And make sure you tune in to the Funny Gals Talk series next month. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but it'll be a surprise as always. Because why not? This is just what we do. And make sure you subscribe to the It's Me Shell podcast YouTube channel. And you can tune in to regular scheduled podcast programming on all podcast platforms. There'll be snippets of this episode. There was a talk that I'm possibly moving this over to Patreon. And that is a definite because Patreon is coming soon. I'm very excited for that. Yes. So make sure once I send all that stuff out on social media, you go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon channel as well. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at itsmi.chelle. Click the link in my bio, podcast platforms, Lacomai's merch corner, where all the merch comes through. It's lit over there. And look out for a new episode next week, regularly scheduled programming. And I don't know, Jay, I always ask you if I'm forgetting to say something else. And you're like, no, bitch, because you said enough. Oh, wait, but I do have one thing. Lastly, if there are any topics you want us to make fun of, because it's what we do, make sure you send us DMs, emails, voice messages, whatever, telling us your stories, and we will add it onto the episode, make fun of it, all that good shit.
Definitely.
That's what we do out here. Anything else, Jay?
No, baby, nothing.
Nothing? Well, with that said, peace and love. We out.
I see you. It's me. 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 Shell, bitch.